Relais Injury la groupe dans 866 945 47 68. Équipe ça, belle équipe ça, équipe Injury la groupe là, qui des années depuis la veille des gens qui ont injury, gens qui fait accident avec un pile cas assurance. Nous aidons les gens à faire des millions de dollars. Des millions de dollars, oui, clients nous fait. Nous avons plus que 35 ans d'expérience. Tendez ça, nous ne pouvons pas charger $1 si vous n'avez pas de caisse là. Relais-nous aujourd'hui pour consultation gratis dans 866 945 47 68. Ou fait accident machine, ou frapper dans le travail, ou t'as le cas docteur ou bien l'hôpital, il va te faire travailler bien, il te fait mauvais pratique, ou glisser, ou tomber, ou gros blessure, ou prendre une gros catastrophe, ou que famille, amis, le docteur, il va le mauvais remède, qui cause de mourir parce qu'il a le mauvais soin. Il fait discrimination contre nous, nous avons tout problème ça. C'est juste que nous dans 866 945 47 68. Bon, me dit, pas de casser tête tout, puisque nous parlons plusieurs langues. Nous parlons espagnol, nous parlons créole. Un jour, le groupe, office principal, nous dans Boca Raton, dans Florida. Regardez, depuis après l'avocat, nous voulons laisser nous brûler.
Yeah. Hey, Wob, how you doing?
Bonsoir, I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, je dis à nous retournons pour l'autre émission encore nous pas la semaine passée bon je dis à nous la live dans radio là et moi ma Wob dans radio na préparé pour une belle émission encore aujourd'hui parce que nous là nous dans communauté à fond servir tout le monde so n'a saluer tout le monde Palm Beach et mon Delray Boca Raton mon les Quiff Palm Beach Garden Port St. Lucie Fort Peace parce que nous dans tout pays net nous tout côté dans Florida nous dans West Coast nous dans Naples Fort Myers et Immokalee nous tout côté dans Florida Miami Jacksonville quel que soit côté dans Florida si vous avez un problème accident tomber dans travail ou bien ou va non store glisser tomber pas gain l'autre numéro pour faire c'est 866 945 47 68 c'est Your Injury Law Group. So aujourd'hui avec un plus gros avocat dans le moment c'est Robert Trilling. So on a présenté nous pas même besoin de présenter Rob parce que Rob c'est maître Kaila, Rob c'est petit haïtien, c'est petite communauté. So Rob, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you for having us here, and Claude, thank you as always. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, last week we was off on last week.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Had some issues come up which were very important, and I'm glad we took the time. We have, when you run a law office, there's a lot of things that happen that sometimes interfere with your other schedule outside of work hours, trials, and other things that happen. So we're always grateful for the time when we're able to be here like tonight. And tonight is a very important night because here we are at the beginning of this week and later this week on Thursday, some things happen. And I kind of wanted to make like a special show as much as I can about immigration tonight.
Yeah, that's a very good one, Rob, if we can talk about that because we know our community, we have a lot of people that has immigration issue. They don't know what to do, where to go. So basically now we have a law firm that gonna provide that. We provide that service to them right now. So anytime they can call on
866-866 945 47 68.
So Creole is better than me now. You can see that.
Only for our phone number. But yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
So that will be a good idea to talk about that today.
I think so. And I think it's important, and you can go ahead and translate this, how important it is because of what's happening this week. So I want to do a little bit of a special show because of what's happening this week. On Thursday, Title 42 expires.
Yeah, c'est vraiment important. Avocat de parler avec ça. Je dis on parler en général sur l'immigration parce que nous connaissons World Focus lui-même c'est dans personne injury but il a aller généralement sur l'immigration parce que j'ai dit nous gain Title 42 qui a expiré et monsieur voulait faire un petit parler ensemble avec son monde parce que son gros décision là pied nous pouvons connaître qui décision gouvernement a fait qui est-ce qu'il y a un executive order par exemple qui connaît qui ça nèg a fait so là ça a vraiment important nous même dans la communauté à d'accord avec monde qui explique nous dans cas ça si ça est arrivé mais qui décision pour nous voir.
So I wanted to first of all, as you just said, my focus of in my area of practice really is personal injury and insurance litigation. That's where I handle. We have somebody in the office that focuses their practice on immigration, so we handle immigration matters. And what I did was I wanted to spend some time understanding what Title 42 was and what happens, what we expect to happen come Thursday when things change, when Title 42 sunsets. So I kind of I got a lot of information. I wanted to pass some of it on to our listeners so they're aware of it and we can plan accordingly.
Yeah, n'a dit mon yo to si yo gen question yo ka rele nan radio la. Numéro c'est 561 576 1600 et pendant avocat là yo ka rele poser question sur affaire immigration yo pour ka expliquer exactement qui ça titre 42 a c'est un bail qui a expiré j'ai dit si tu veux expiré so si mon yo te ka rele nan radio a poser nos questions et ou bien yo ka attendre nous tout si yo gen question yo ka rele nous après dans office là 866 945 47 68.
And Claude, you know very well from you and I working together for so many years, I love to plan ahead. I love to, if you've got an issue coming up, I want to plan and map ahead a good strategy so that we can have success for you, the client.
Yes, ça c'est une bonne stratégie parce que ça c'est prend toute bagaille planifier tout à fait l'avant. Avant ça c'est une bonne stratégie planifier tout à fait l'avant pour c'est pas les dominants c'est les ça pour la ranger cabane.
So I always, suggest to people that, hey, if you're going to, if you have an immigration issue and you want to get some help as to how to map it out, how to make sure that you're going to have the most chance for success for immigration, that you give us a call at our office at 866 945 47 68. The earlier you call us, the more we're able to help you.
Yes, si on moun vle li besoin pi bonel karele nous n'a bien plus chance pour aider li. Comme ça tout si on monde qui attend des radio là qui veut relé yo ka toujours relé dans radio dans 561 576 1600 parce que bagay Title 42 ça son gros décision pour lier pour tout le monde yo parce que on monde qui cause immigration ou par contre ça peut passer après ça so l'étape bon pour nous connaître avant qui décision pour nous d'avant.
Now, I'm going to give this caveat. That is, I'm not the immigration attorney.
Yeah.
But I did sit down and speak with the immigration attorney, Richard, to get as much information as I can so I can impart that information to our listeners and understand that for specific questions, give us a call at our office. And you'll speak to the attorney who handles immigration is able to best help you.
Non, même nous fait tout le monde, nous fait affaire nous propre, tout le monde même les avocats sont avocats liés, mais spécialisés dans des bagages spécifiques. Elle explique nous très bien, c'est pas les avocats immigration, mais les cas parler d'immigration en général. Mais si on monte à une question générale, là, le toujours aider le jeudi à répondre, mais après, mon n'a qu'à aller dans l'office, on a fait parler avec avocat immigration directement. So, nous pas faire un charlatan, c'est chaque avocat spécialisé dans le bagage, nous pas un avocat qui fait tout bagage, parce qu'on pas qu'à faire tout bagage en seul coup. C'est ça fait dans l'office, pas nous, chaque avocat spécialisé dans le bagage. Ou même c'est personal injury ou fait c'est pas accident machine si caillou sous glisse tombé ou bien un caillou inondé ou bien ou flacage sans pas vle payer c'est ça seulement réglé ici ça fait c'est son spécialiste dans ça l'affaire.
So, it helps to understand what Title 42 is.
Yes, that's very important.
What Title 42 is not, it really wasn't designed as an immigration action per se. It was designed as a measure for health, for public health.
Oh, okay. C'est pas yo pas fait Title 42 pour immigration son bagay pour bail santé lié pour bail santé monde.
When the pandemic began, when the COVID pandemic began, they implemented Title 42 as a measure to try to keep the pandemic outside of the United States, keep it from entering the United States.
Fait là c'est la pandémie, yo te fait en façon pour yo te kembe pandémie en dehors des United States. So c'est pour un bagay qui était fait exactement pour immigration.
It was an emergency action during the course of the pandemic emergency that allowed the government to deport people that may be bringing in or that were believed to be bringing in the COVID vaccine or any other contagion.
Son bagay yo te fait pour emergency, yo te fait li pour en cas d'urgence yo te fait li pour en façon il te fait gouvernement possibilité pour te déporter monde qui ka vini avec problème ou bien qui vient à corona dans pays.
Now the problem was when they're implementing it, the effect was that if you applied for asylum, they could go ahead and deport you, even though you would, under the asylum rules, you would have the right to stay here in the United States until your asylum determination was made.
Oh, ça passe même lors de faire asile, yo te vinn gen droit à cause de loi ça ou de vinn passer à de vinn gen droit même l'autre fait asile, yo te ka déporté pour aller en asile dans l'autre côté.
So the practical effect was that people who had applied for asylum that would otherwise be allowed to stay were still subject to being deported. And that's really what the problem was with Title 42.
Okay, so quel que soit monde qui te a fait asile là, yo gen droit pour yo déporter. Basically, what I have one question. Can I?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
please
I have
do.
one question. What if you get inside the United States? So they let you in while the Title 42 was in place. So you apply for asylum. So you still have. They will be able to deport you.
You know, I'm not the expert on this. So
Yeah,
I'm going to
so
defer to the expert. I can't answer
answer
that
that.
question.
Yeah.
I didn't get that much detail
Yeah.
to be able to answer that, but I can
Yeah.
tell you that's a good question.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that happened or not. but
Because
what
most of the Haitian, most of them get in doing the Title 42. Now they apply for asylum or TPS. So I want to know, even they approve them for the TPS, they give them like work permit and social security, they can work. I want to know if they still have some immigration issue with deportation.
Well, the good news is it sunsets on by Thursday. So it's not going to be an issue anymore. What it did was it gave the government the emergency power to try to keep people out who may or deport people who may be bringing in the contagion, the disease. And the practical matter was they weren't even testing for the disease, really.
Yeah.
And so realistically, it was being used in a lot of respects. Some people believe it was being used for deportation in the immigration arena improperly. But nevertheless, it was illegal and allowed because it was an emergency.
Yeah.
We were under a national emergency.
Okay.
In fact, we were under an international emergency. So it made sense that as to what the policy behind it was. But now here we are. The emergency has passed. The president has already announced publicly that the pandemic is over for purposes of emergency basis. So the emergency has passed. So now it makes sense that it's going to sunset. And now the question is, what happens from here with respect to immigration?
Yes, ça passe là, qu'on y a emergency a fini, cardigence la fini, qu'on y a tout le monde a posé tête aux questions qui ça peut passer qui gagne rapport à immigration, qu'on y a ces questions ça.
So that was my question when I was discussing this with Richard about what is going to happen from here. What are the projections? And the projections are that really we're kind of going back to where we were before the pandemic. And that is that if you applied for asylum, you had the right to be here. If you were here, you had the right to stay, and there were certain things that could happen while you were staying.
OK. Ça peut passer n'a tourner même côté nous était avant pandémique là, soit appliqué pour asile ou bien droit pour être dans pays.
Depending upon how much time had passed, you may have earned the right by virtue of the time that's passed and your participation here to actually be able to work without a work permit per se, without a green card. You'd be able to work here, be able to obtain a social security number, like you were talking about with TPS.
Yeah.
So those things would be available to you while you're here, while your asylum petition is pending.
Yeah, ça peut arriver parce que vous gain droit pendant ou fil asile là pendant là. Yo bon possibilité pour travail, yo bon social et ou ka appliquer pour TPS too.
Now it gets a little bit more complicated because there's different types of asylum applications. There's an offensive type where you're applying before any action is taken against you. And then there's a defensive when you're applying for asylum in response to somebody to the government taking some action against you, like deportation.
Yeah, ça parce que gen plusieurs asylum, gen plusieurs asile, parce que gen asile ou ka appliquer avant gouvernement porter en façon pour déporter ou bien après gouvernement fin dit qu'il y a déporter.
Many people are familiar with the defensive action when action is taken against you by the government to deport you and you apply for asylum in response.
Yeah, mais la majorité moun yo gen rapport avec défense là, c'est le gouvernement dit la déporter les fin font appliquer pour asile là pour ka défendre tout.
And to be very clear, at our office we handle both types.
Oh, ça veut dire dans office ça nous même nous fait tout nous fait tous les deux dans office.
So if you're here or if you have a loved one or somebody that you're concerned about who's here and who's subject to being deported based upon government action and they're applying for asylum, we can help with that.
Yeah, ça veut dire si gouvernement gain déportation ou besoin appliquer pour asile, nous ka aider avec ça.
So give us a call at 866 945 47 68.
Yeah, n'a dit mon yo quel que soit mon nom relé nous dans 866 945 47 68. I know what we spend the first 15 minutes talking about the immigration,
yes.
you know. my area, it's like personal injury, so we're gonna go back to personal injury. So people, if you is quel que soit monde qui gen question, relez nous dans 866 947 47 68 pour faire immigration, quel que soit problème ou gen dans immigration, n'a prend deuxième partie show pour personal injury, pour car accident, slip and fall.
Before we switch topics, let me just say one other thing, because I was going to talk about the offensive, where you, in advance of any action, you file your own petition for asylum.
Yep.
I'm going to recommend people to consider doing that. And if you are, then give us a call so we can help map that out. That is a tremendous amount of success, I understand, and we're able to help you prepare for that in a way that would give you greater chance for success. So give us a call at our office, and we can help you strategize as to what's the best way to handle it for you and put the motion in place for you so you can get the best result.
Yeah, n'a dit mon yo relé non dans office pour nous préparer yo pour nous dire exactement qui ça pour faire pour yo jouer un bon résultat parce que c'est ça seulement nous fait c'est résultat seulement nous bail nous même.
But when now changing gears and talking about accidents, so yes,
right.
We handle as you know, and as most people here who listen know, that we handle a lot of auto accident cases. We handle slip and falls. We handle medical malpractice, product liability, all types of injuries caused by others.
Yes, ça n'a venu n'a fait pas nous même c'est accident parce que ça fait plus blé nous parler des accidents là parce que si mon yo relé poser question avocat qui responsable par accident c'est lui là ensemble avec nous aujourd'hui mon yo ka poser quelque soit question nous tourner sur accident nous fait quelque soit accident et sous tomber dans travail ou à non stock glisse tomber ou bien ou à l'hôpital docteur a font erreur ou bien ou ton son motocyclette en machine frappe ou son bicyclette machine frappe relé nous dans 866 945 47 68.
I always like to give some pointers, some tips to people so they have, they can come out with knowing more information about what's in how to help protect their interest in advance or either before an accident or after an accident.
Yeah, avocat toujours bail mon petit conseil comment pour protéger intérêt yo et avant yo al un accident ou bien après yo involved dans accident.
And I think one of the areas that we're seeing a lot of issues, particularly with clients that have talked to the insurance companies before they've talked to us.
Yeah, il y en a plus gros problème nos jeunes c'est et client au parler avec assurance compagnie. C'est tout assurance l'autre monde qui frappe avant yo vinn côté nous.
One of those issues that we commonly see from those people is a challenge oftentimes in getting their cars repaired or replaced.
Yeah.
Based, for the damage that's done in a motor vehicle accident, for example.
Issue. Yeah,
it's a big issue. Yes.
Big issue. So, il y en a plus gros problème nous gain c'est mon yo pour yo ranger machine yo là yo involve dans accident. Ça c'est un plus gros problème nous confronter.
The best advice I would give to people is if before you get in that situation, if you're going to be talking to the insurance company, and you have to talk to the insurance company if you've been in an accident of any kind, speak to an attorney first before you talk to the insurance company. It's always my recommendation.
Yeah, li toujours recommandé mon yo li connaît wa parler avec assurance compagnie mais li t'a pi bon sou t'a parler avec assurance compagnie ou parler avec un avocat avant ou t'a parler avec assurance compagnie.
When we get involved in representing someone, we handle all of the aspects of dealing with the insurance company for the client, so they don't have to.
Yeah, non, ça nous fait nous take tout bagay qui ka gen rapport avec si machine au crasé, nous take ba ça pour client pour pas gain pour nous parler avec assurance.
And I think it helps on a number of different levels. The first thing obviously is it protects your rights, it keeps you from doing something or saying something that may be adverse to your interests without even realizing you're doing it.
Yeah, ça est raison qui fait nous c'est nous qui régler ça pour client yo pour faire machine yo si machine yo endommagé c'est parce que nous pas vle y a le parlon bagay qui pour endommager intérêt.
But it also lets us help you get these issues resolved as quickly as possible and in the best way for you, because we can help guide you as to which way to go, whether you should go through your own insurance company in your particular case, if that's the best way, or if it's better to go through the other person's insurance company. Whatever the situation is, we can help guide you based upon the facts of your case.
Ça fait nous faire ça, nous parler avec assurance pour mon yo parce que nous besoin guider mon yo pour dire est-ce que c'est dans assurance par yo ou aller ou bien c'est dans assurance l'autre mon yo aller. C'est pour raison ça, c'est ça fait nous toujours dit mon yo ka toujours parler assurance mais tape toujours plus bon avant de parler avec assurance pour yo chercher un bon avocat, qui a expérience, qui a patience, qui compte ça la faire tout qui pour yo parler ensemble avec qui pour résoudre problème accident machine pour yo c'est tout pour ranger machine yo. Sometimes this thing take like 2 or 3 months.
Sometimes it depends on the situation. There's a lot of nuances. There's a lot of of unique things for each individual case. We've had situations where there's a combined policy, for example, and there's a lot of claimants, and that can affect your ability to get your property damage resolved. And whether or not you have collision coverage, and it might be a better time to do that. It just really depends on your specific situation.
Parfois, des fois, ça prend pile temps. Des fois, ça prend 3 mois, 2 mois juste pour ranger machine au monde. Si ça fait toujours plus bon, sinon quitter ça dans mon avocat qui pour parler avec l'assurance. Parce que l'adresse n'est pas facile pour joindre.
Now, there's obviously some things you can do before an accident that can help improve your options.
Okay, gen bagay ou ka fa avant ou al nan accident qui ka improve option gen.
Things like making sure you have collision coverage on your car.
Make sure gen collision nan machine ou.
Making sure you have uninsured motorist coverage on your car, for example.
Make sure uninsured motorist, on ba yo le UM, fon toujours make sure gade policy assurance nou pou nou wè si nou gen UM la dan.
You know, putting in place the coverages on your insurance to make sure that you're covered and your car is covered regardless of who's at fault.
Pour konnen machine ou couvri ou gen coverage quel que soit monde qui entoure.
And that's great before an accident happens. But the problem is, as you know, so many times accidents have already happened by the time people realize that, hey, I might not have the right kind of insurance. What do I do then?
Ça arrive et les accidents fin passer laisse moun réaliser le bat gen assez coverage.
And the best advice I can always give, as you know, is to contact an experienced attorney and let us assist you and guide you so we can tell you exactly what your rights are and help you make sure that you're protecting your rights and get the most of what you're entitled to.
Si jamais ça t'est arrivé, ou ka toujours un avocat qui a expérience qui pour guider dans ça pour faire avec question web.
Sure.
So what happened if my insurance expired the same day? Like in the morning, my insurance expired yesterday and I have an accident.
Oftentimes when you see it expires on a particular day, it's usually at 12:01 a.m. So it'll expire. If it expires today, it may already be expired as of the minute after midnight last night.
Last night, So
when
you get involved in an accident,
you're going to be in a situation, in all likelihood, depending upon why it expired, in all likelihood, you're going to be in a situation where there's no coverage for you through your own insurance.
Ça veut dire si vous avez une assurance, faut toujours checker ça pour assurance ne pas expirer. Si ça t'arrive, on les note à fond accident, les assurance nous expiré, ça a mettre nous dans problème.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you don't have rights, because the other person may have insurance and there may be other factors, with or without insurance. There may be other factors that allow you to have additional rights beyond what your own insurance would provide.
Ça ka toujours gen droit qui droit l'autre assurance pi ou ki assurance nan ka ba ou, but ça pas vle tout pas gen droit. But real quick, I have one question. So basically, some people they take an insurance, the insurance expired, they don't even know.
Right. Well, in order for an insurance to expire, there are notices that have to be sent out. And very rarely have we ever seen where the insurance companies can't prove that they sent the notices. It's very, very rare. Usually they can prove, not always, but usually they can prove that they sent the notices. So if they sent the notices, it's not important that you opened it. The question is whether they sent it. That's what the law requires.
I understand that. So what if I need to pay on today is the 10th, right? The 8th?
Today's the 8th.
Okay, I need to pay on the 8th. So I didn't pay. 10, I didn't pay. 11, I didn't pay. But I don't get any notice yet. So basically, if I get involved in an accident, let's say like it was on like 10 or 11, but I should have paid on the 8th, what happened in that?
It's impossible to say without knowing more. Because a lot of times with the notice telling you when you have to pay, a lot of insurance companies will include the notice of cancellation on that notice, or at least they have historically. On that notice. So even that would tell you what would happen. So you're really going to have to look at the notices or look at your policy to be able to answer that question.
So basically, make sure you look at your policy to know exactly when you have to pay.
Exactly. And with insurance, I remember there's a movie, I don't remember which movie it was, where they talk about the most important things that you pay for are your insurance and your mortgage. After that, everything else can go. But right now, those are the two most important things. And I happen to agree with that, because if protecting yourself is so important. It's one of the highest, most important things that I think personally. You want to make sure you're protected. You want to make sure your family's protected. There's so many things that happen after an accident that can affect you financially. Number one, obviously there's property damage, but more importantly, there's damage to you and whether you're able to go back to work. whether your business is affected by it, particularly if you're the breadwinner or the main breadwinner in your house. So many things happen financially as a result of accidents that can be devastating. You want to make sure you're as protected as you can be before it happens.
Yeah, mon yo faut nous make sure nous protéger parce que des fois c'est nous qui mettre tête caille là, c'est et des fois les nous fait accident, des fois machine nous caser, des fois mon n'a qu'on frapper, il vient pas qu'à travail. So faut nous faire gens pour nous protéger tête nous, pour nous mettre sure nous garder coverage nous gagne.
Now, the good news is that in Florida, if someone is responsible for causing you injury, they're responsible for the natural consequences, the foreseeable consequences, including if you lost time from work, if you've lost the ability to earn money, if there's been a business interruption, things like that because of your injury. All of those things are potential damages that you may have the right to recover for.
Yeah, comme Florida, nous gagne loi qui protège si mon nan frappe li faut pas qu'à travail, li fait business ou écrasé à cause des fois pour accident, faut pas qu'à dans business ou gain loi dans Florida qui protège.
Now, everyone's situation is unique. Everyone's situation is different. So for you, if you've been in an accident, call us and we can go over what your rights are from your accident. So give us a call at our office at 866 945 47 68.
J'en dis mon yo chaque cas est différent et si ou même ou un problème ou t'as fait un accident ou un cas spécial, relez-nous dans 866 945 47 68. N'après prendre numéro encore, c'est 866 945 47 68. Pas oublier, nous fait immigration, nous fait accident machine, nous fait slip and fall.
Yeah. And also, you were just mentioning the types of cases that we handle.
Yeah.
We also handle insurance claims.
Yeah.
We've had situations, as an example, for car accidents, any type of like an auto insurance or homeowner's insurance claim, we handle. So feel free to give us a call about those as well.
Yeah, nous fait si mon n'a un problème avec assurance la Kali, soit l'eau pété en dedans, kitchen n'a un problème ou bien bathroom n'a un problème, yo ka toujours les noto et 866 945 47 68.
Very recently, we've had a couple of times in the last couple of months where people have called us where they've been involved in accidents, and it wasn't a question of one car accident or where it was their own fault, and yet their own insurance, they had collision coverage, for example, and their own insurance company refused to honor their claim. So we've had those situations, and we've been successful in getting those situations, assisting in those situations.
Yeah, en pile fois ça arrive mon yo fait accident les fini assurance pas vle payer claim yo nous grand payer client comme ça. Et là comme ça nous aider mon yo content yo joine claim yo joine cob yo assurance la paye toute bagarre de pour monsieur mettez bouche dans bagarre là assurance la paye quand même.
And depending upon what type of insurance coverage it is, most often we're able to assist without having to charge the client any money.
Yeah.
We're able to get paid from the way the law is written is that, for example, in auto insurance cases, if they deny a claim and we're able to get the claim covered when against an insurance company, when it's against the insurance company itself, we're often able to get our attorney's fees paid by the insurance company per Florida law.
Yeah, gon loi en Florida des fois ça va dépendre des situations, des fois client pas même dépenser $1 pour ça depuis avocat gagne c'est assurance compagnie qui paye directement so tout comme client vient jeune client.
In those situations, if an insurance company is not doing the right thing, give us a call right away. We're able to get involved, and usually we're able to make a big difference in terms of getting a good result for you. So give us a call at 866 945 47 68.
So n'a dit mon yo quel que soit cas yo ta gagne si yo gagne question relez nous dans 866 945 47 68.
And as you know, insurance cases are among my favorite types of cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've handled literally thousands of cases against insurance companies over the years, successfully, most of them successfully. So feel free to give us a call. And the other thing is, real quick, the results that we obtain for one client are not necessarily indicative of what we're going to be able to do for you.
Yeah,
Every case is different.
Yeah.
But for your case, give us a call. We're happy to discuss it with you and see what we can do for you.
Yeah, n'a dit mon yo chaque case mon yo différent, ça on l'autre mon jeune ça va veut dire c'est même bagarre l'on va jeune, mais si vous avez un case particulièrement besoin parler ensemble avec nous, relez-nous dans 866 945 47 68. Numéro téléphone nan marqué l'on côté te mettre c'est pour un amour pour une famille, kembe numéro relez-nous. N'a dit tout le monde bonsoir tout le monde. We come back on Monday.
We're back on Monday, yes. We're back on Monday.